Hi, I'm Melinda Emerson, the Small Biz Lady, and I'm so excited to be here with you for our second edition of Small Biz Chat Live. Now, you know that my mission is to end small business failure, which is why I blog every week at succeedasYourOwnBoss.com. And if you're looking to start or grow a profitable and sustainable small business, you might want to check out my best-selling book, Become Your Own Boss in 12 Months. And if you're just getting your sea legs in social media, I write a weekly column every week for the New York Times in the You're the Boss blog, where I give tools and tips on how to use social media and how not to use it. So you might want to check that out as well. And also, if you are a Twitter user, you know I'm the Small Biz Lady on Twitter, and every Wednesday from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern, I host Small Biz Chat, where we answer people's small business questions live every single week for free. So I'm so excited today to have a dear friend and mentor of mine, Chatzky, joining us, and she's going to talk to us about how to get your money straight if you're thinking about making that plunge into entrepreneurship. Now, let me just tell you a little bit about Jean. I know you guys all know who she is. She's been on the Today Show for years. She is their financial editor. She's also a best-selling author. She's written tons of books. Let me tell you something. I've been reading this lady's stuff for forever, okay? One of my favorite books is this, Make Money, Not Excuses, honey, and that is what we're talking about today. So Jean has a great new product out now. It's called The Money School, and she's going to give us a little bit of information so how you can get your personal finances and your retirement going if you're ready to launch a business or just thinking about what your next reinvention or transition point is. So Jean, welcome to Small Biz Chat Live.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited to be with you. And this is just episode number 2, so that's great. I'm thrilled.
Well, you know, I only bring the best experts I know on here. You know, this isn't for riffraffs and wannabes, right? This is all about people who are experts. And what I'm trying to do is bring my audience the people whose advice I use. So, you know, if you want to know what I read, you want to know whose advice I check out, I bring them to you live on Small Biz Chat Live. So I'm so excited to have you with us today, Jean. And just to jump in, can you tell us, you know, what do you need to do if you're ready to launch a business? How do you need to position yourself financially?
I don't think people understand how much their personal finances and their business finances are interwoven. But if you're about to launch a small business, you not only need enough money to keep your business going for a good 6 months, you need enough money to keep you going personally for a good 6 months, which is why you and I have talked before about the fact that I really don't think you want to quit your day job unless you've got a nice, huge cushion on the side to keep you going. If you keep your day job, you at least know that those revenues to support your life will continue to roll in as you're trying to get this business off the ground. Credit is also a huge, huge point of reflection for people who are starting their small businesses, because people don't understand the degree to which your own business actually relies on your personal credit rating, not your business credit rating. So you got to focus on that too.
All right, so you mentioned the C word. Okay, so let's talk about credit. When you say decent credit, define that for me. Tell me what you mean. And if you don't have such good credit, tell me what you think they should do.
Well, the first thing people need to understand and need to know is how their credit actually is. And there are 2 ways that we look at that. We look at your credit report, which you can get for free from annualcreditreport.com. You can pull 1 free credit report from each of the 3 major credit bureaus each year. And you can look at your credit score. And when I look at a credit score, I want to see a credit score on the FICO scale, which means 350 to 850. And you can get that score for free at creditkarma.com. Now, when you pull your score, if you are not in the 700 range, then you are not decent. All right. I know that sounds high based on the scale, but that's where you need to be. A credit score of 720 or above is good. Credit score of 760 or above is great. If you're not there is no quick fix for your credit. It's just a matter of doing a few relatively simple things over and over and over again, and you'll see your credit score climb in a 12 to 24 month period. It doesn't take forever. You need to pay your bills on time, every single one of them on time. You need to only be carrying about 10 to 30% of the credit available to you on your credit cards, you only want to be using 10 to 30% of that at any time. We're talking about each individual credit card, but also all the credit cards combined. You should have a decent mix of credit, which means you want to have not just credit cards, but if you've got some utilities in your name, that's good. If you've shown that you can repay a car loan, that's good. And while you're trying to raise your credit, don't be out shopping for credit. When you're in the mall and they ask you, do you want to save 20% by taking out this card today? The answer is just no. No, thank you. I don't want to do that. I will forego the 20% and find a coupon someplace else. And by the same token, you don't want to be closing old credit cards while you're trying to raise your credit score. So that's it in a nutshell.
All right, so now I got another credit question because I've actually had this happen to me. So I go and check my credit score, I see what it is, and I go to the car dealership because I'm ready to buy a new car. And they come out and tell me that the credit score that I just checked before I went is not the credit score that they pulled up for me. So now, are there different kinds of credit reports that businesses can get on me versus what I can get on me?
Yes, there are many, many, many different kinds of credit scores. And the thing to keep in mind is that they're all directional. So you want them all moving up. I have a money rule that says every birthday check your weight and your credit score. One should be going down and the other should be going up. You want to make sure that they're moving in the same direction. Experian, TransUnion, Equifax, those are the three big credit bureaus. They each have a credit score. They each cook it slightly differently. And to complicate matters even more, home lenders, auto lenders, they all look at slightly different scores. They look at the factors that are most meaningful to them. And there's a big company called Fair Isaac or FICO that cooks all of these credit scores. And they make a lot of money coming up with a lot of these different calculations for the various lenders. As long as it's good enough to get you the loan that you want, don't worry about it.
Okay, because I wanted, you know, I was like, wait a minute, I know I'm this. And they're like, no, it says you're this. And I'm like, okay, is there, I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't crazy.
Don't freak out. Don't freak out about a few points here and there.
I did get the car, it was good.
Then you want to worry.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about how important is an actual business plan. Now, I'm a small business lady, so you know that I tell people, absolutely, you have to plan for success. But tell me about what your advice is about business plan.
I've seen people succeed with business plans. I've seen them succeed without, just like I've seen people succeed with written budgets, and I've seen them succeed without. You need to know for your own purposes what's coming in, what's going out, and where it's going. And you need that information to be at your fingertips. Now, some people can keep it in their heads. Some people keep very good track of it, on the computer or on a piece of scratch paper, and they don't have a formal written business plan or a formal written budget. I think it's good to start with a business plan or to start with a budget. And then when you get good at it, maybe you don't need that piece of paper anymore. And that's one of the reasons through Money School that I'm teaching budgeting. I know, because people have asked me, that people don't track their spending. They don't know where their own money is going. And so I'm launching these classes on my website, which is Chatzky.com, to teach them how to get out of debt, how to be able to retire, which is a totally different challenge for small business people, how to get on a budget and stick with the budget, how to spend a little less and save a little more.
Absolutely. So you open it up. So talk to me about, the types of things that people can get from your Money School and the things that you want entrepreneurs really to consider learning. I mean, just to piggyback on your last comment, to me, if you don't manage your household with a budget, you're not going to manage your business with one. And too often, small business owners are out here getting bright, shiny object syndrome. You might not need the iPhone 5. You might could get the iPhone 4 and it'd still be okay. So I want people, what I like to tell people about their finances is that they should ask themselves why 3 times before making any purchase in their business. And I mean, get 3 different answers as well. But tell me about some of the different courses and some of the things that are offered, you know, in your money school to help people get their money straight?
So Money School, just in general, is an online school that I have opened. Our first class actually launches April 2nd. And for all of the people who have asked me through the years, can you just please come to my house and sit down with me and teach me how to do this? And there have been quite a few of them. This is my answer. I can teach you virtually. I can come into your house over the computer. The classes are all live. My father was a college professor, so we've built in office hours, so you have plenty of time to ask your questions and get the personal attention that you're looking for. And every class is a 45-minute lecture and then 15 minutes of Q&A, and then there are office hours scheduled at a later time. The topics are the things that people told me they need to know. So there's a jump start. If you're feeling like you need an overall look at your finances, from saving to budgeting to getting out of debt to starting to retire or plan for retirement, you want the jump start. If you want to take a deeper dive into any of those subjects, there is a course called Yes, You Can Retire, and we'll get into all of the different retirement strategies and accounts, not just for small business people, but for people across the board. How do you start today and get there 10, 20, however many years from now you actually have? Getting out of debt, I'm going to teach the same debt diet I taught on Oprah's show. So we're gonna do that. Budgeting, lots of spending and saving and protecting your life. And I'm really excited. People are signing up. The classes are starting to fill up, which is fantastic. JeanChatzky.com, same as my Twitter, is my website. We just redesigned it, so it's looking very good these days. And we're good to go.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about, okay, so I've gone through Jean Chatzky's Money School. I've read Small Biz Lady's book, Become Your Own Boss in 12 Months. Okay, so what do I do now as I begin to set up my business banking relationships? Do I need a commercial bank? Should I have a credit union? You know, what do I need to have as I start building these relationships?
I think in the beginning, you need a bank that you know that you can depend on. You need a bank that works for you. And that is generally a bank that you can walk into, as well as a bank that you can dial into. Both are very important these days. You got to be able to do your banking on the fly, so I think a very good online interface is completely important. But if you are looking to borrow money at any point in the near future, you may need that personal relationship as a small business person, and that may be with your local bank. It may be with your credit union, somebody who understands the business you're in and what sort of revenue you can anticipate. The problem that small business owners have, and you know this, and you talk about this all the time, is that because you're not a major national enterprise, people may not understand your revenue and your profit potential. You need to be able to have a relationship with somebody who will essentially bank on you.
Well, I think that's really, really important to talk about. One of the things I like to tell entrepreneurs is, listen, don't just go in and make deposits and withdrawals. Make sure somebody in that bank knows you. You know, if you have your business plan, take it to the manager of the bank. Show it to them. Make sure multiple tellers and people know you, because you'd be amazed how when there's a personal relationship, that person can become an advocate for you should you have the opportunity to go after a business line of credit or a business loan, which, by the way, they don't even want you till you've been in business 2 or 3 years at least. But I think that it's important for people to understand that they need a banking relationship and not a bank, right?
Exactly. And the bank, for the banks these days and for the credit unions, small business is a growth enterprise. It's part of where they are counting on additional profits for them to make their money. So they have specialists either in the branches or nationally or at the credit union who can sit down and who can talk to you, and you want to make sure that you get in the right hands. You want to be dealing with the person who is specializing in small business.
That's exactly right. So we only have a few minutes left. I want you to talk to us a little bit about just what do people need to do to protect their life and their family financially? You know, if you could give somebody like some parting advice about what they need to be doing, tell us that.
So when we're talking about protection, generally we're talking about 3 layers of things. We're talking about savings, emergency savings, and that's protection against going into debt. If you have an emergency and you've got some savings on the side, you will be able to spend that emergency money. You won't have to float it on some expensive credit card and pay it off for years to come at 20%, and it'll cost you more money. So savings is a layer of protection. Insurance is a layer of protection, and you have to ask yourself, do I need the various kinds of insurance? Health insurance, we all need that, and we should just do another hangout at some later date to talk about the changes that are coming in the world of health insurance and how small business owners can get the policies through the new exchanges that we're starting to learn about that will be correct for them. That's going to be a very confusing process.
I would love to do that with you, Jean, so I'm going to put a pin in that. We're going to come back to that for sure.
An important one. Health insurance, life insurance, if you have dependents, if you have people who are counting on your income and who would be lost without it, you need life insurance. Term life is the cheapest form of life insurance. It will suffice for the majority of people out there. Disability insurance is an interesting product. It's absolutely helpful, and many people would say necessary. It's also expensive, and so you've got to look at what you can afford, not only to purchase now but to maintain as you look at disability insurance. But again, if somebody's depending on your income, if you are a single person with nobody else to rely on, disability insurance is really, really important. And then the third layer of protection is an estate plan. Who's going to make sure, do you have the papers in place to make sure that not only do your assets get into the right hands, does your business get into the right hands if something should happen to you, but that the decisions can be made on your behalf about your finances and about your health because you put durable powers of attorney in place that will allow that to happen.
Well, I think that those are all things that are really important, and I want to have an opportunity to come back to you, and we can go into that a little bit more, because I think many small business owners are so busy with their head down, working in their business, they just haven't thought about some of these things, and they could be putting themselves and their family in complete financial risk.
I think that's true, and I think if you can, just like I've learned that sometimes I'll pencil exercise into my calendar. I'll actually write it down so that I know that it'll get done. If you are so focused on your business that you find that you don't have time for your personal finances, schedule yourself an hour or two a week where you know that you'll have time to just focus on this part of your life. Because if it falls apart, your business is going to fall apart, because there's going to be, it's like the backbone that holds it up.
Sure, absolutely. Well, Jean, you know what? I appreciate so much your time today and learning about what we need to know to get ourselves ready. If you want to make that plunge into entrepreneurship, remember Jean Chatzky's Money School at jeanchatzky.com. And always, Jean Chatzky is regular on the Today Show, on NBC's Today Show every morning. So check her out, where she's given us always great tips and tools and advice. And you know me, I'm the Small Biz Lady. You know, you can catch me at succeedasyourownboss.com or as Small Biz Lady on Twitter and Facebook. Please like my Facebook page. And always, you know, my book, Become Your Own Boss in 12 Months, or my ebook, How to Be a Social Media Ninja. Hi-ya! I'm going to teach you 101 ways to dominate your competition online. So you want to check those things out as well at my website, succeedasyourownboss.com. Thanks so much. We'll see you guys next month. And you don't know who I'm going to have, but you know they're going to be fabulous. All right. Talk to you later.